Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A. For today's video, I'll be showing you what the garden is looking like. Here we are in the first week of December. We have been scathing on some really great temperatures all the way into November. And then in the last couple of days, all of a sudden we're hitting lows like 33, 32, 31. And even then the garden was still holding on. But in the last couple of days, we have seen 25, 24, and last night there was a 22. And because of that, the garden is finally going to sleep. A lot of things that were holding on, and they finally got knocked back. So let me show you what things are looking like. First up are the elephant ears. These guys do really well for me, and because my season is so long, they will grow and grow and they will look nice and green until they're completely hit back. Even when we were at 35 and 34, they were quite fine. But I came out this morning, and because of last night's 22, they're lying down. So they are done. Now, I could have cut this back earlier before it gets all mushy. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go in and cut these off. Probably maybe 2 inches from the ground, right? And then I leave mine in the ground. I am in zone 8A, so there's no need for me to dig my elephant ears up. I actually had some canna lilies right here, and here stays nice and moist, which cannas like, but it just didn't get enough sun, so I'm moving it. So this is a bed that I'm going to try to work on next spring, because right now all that's in here is the elephant ears and a bunch of privet that I need to go in and dig out. This is an invasive privet that I need to get out, and here gets part sun. It doesn't get full sun, but even with that part sun, the elephant ears do well, but they got knocked back last night, so they're all laying down. So all I have to do is clean them up, and this bed will probably stay empty. And it's not an official bed. This is a part of the yard that is a little bit lower. It gets part sun, so I'm having a hard time finding stuff here. And when I get my little water runoff, it comes all the way down, so this really stays wet. They like the wet, the cannas like the wet, but it's just that the cannas need more sun. Another plant that got hit back are my dahlias. Now, dahlias again are on the cusp of my zone. They are zone 8 hardy. So I don't dig them out of the ground either, just like the canna and the elephant ear. I let them stay, and they usually come back. And if they don't come back, I don't worry about it. I just go buy new ones. But they again were scathing on those 30s and 40s, but finally when we get to 22. So I have one right here, and as you can see, it's all mushy and stuff. This should have been cut back. But one of the reasons, and I don't know if I even addressed it, one of the reasons that I didn't really get to cut back is because November was a really interesting month. I had a lot going on personally, and I had something going on, and I wasn't able to be in the garden for like 3 whole weeks. I wasn't able to push, pull, push, or do anything strenuous, or lift anything, or dig anything, or do anything that was more than 10 pounds. So I didn't really get to do much in the garden, so which is why a lot of things didn't really get done that I knew that should have been done. Otherwise, it's mush. Now, if it's mush, it's not a big deal. I'm just going to pull this off. This is nothing. But with dahlias, I will make sure I mulch them, so that depending on what type of weather we get, they will definitely come back the next year. You might have seen another video of mine where I had put up about I was going to take out those baby gem boxwoods. This is a third one I have on the other end of my yard, and they just don't do well for me. And as the season goes by, I know I need to take these things out, because this thing is browning all up in the middle. And I know they're supposed to do some sort of a browning, but this is not the way it's supposed to be, because the others are pretty much dead. And the others did this exact same thing. So I don't know if the weather did this, but either way, it's coming out, and I will find something else to put here. So that's the baby gem boxwood that has been giving me some serious problems. I still have the tag on it. Let me see. Yeah. Baby gem boxwood by the Southern Living Plant Collection. Got it on clearance. It's supposed to do well in this area, but for some reason in my soil, it just doesn't like me, and I'm not going to put too much effort into it anymore. I've tried to save them, and they're just not responding. And in that same video I told you, I prefer the Korean boxwood, not the winter green. That does really, really well for me. It does not brown one bit, and it's actually putting on some really nice green growth. But for whatever reason, Baby Gem is not working for me. All of my encore azaleas got zapped. So here is Autumn Moonlight. This is been in the ground for quite a while, and it's supposed to be able to take stuff. But again, between it going down between 25, 24, 23, the flowers got zapped and they're looking all mushy and brown now, but the plant itself is looking nice. This, again, all these encore azaleas are evergreen, and with that evergreen comes really, really nice foliage in the fall. So that one was the Autumn Moonlight. Here's an Autumn Lily. Again, they also got zapped, looking all mushy, but they have served me really, really well. I actually have an Autumn Carnation and an Autumn Embers on the other side of the yard up there, and they too got zapped, and I'll show you them. Here are my roses that I need to cut back finally, because now I know, after checking the temperatures for the next 10 days, we are going to be we're not going to be scathing. We are going to be chilly. We're going to go down to 20 and 21, and roses are tough, but they're not that tough, and I will definitely have to cut these down. These plants got zapped right here, so this flower here won't finish opening, so that's pretty much done. But again, I love my Walmart roses. They've served me well. I have nothing to complain about. I knew that the day was coming when they will finally got zapped back and they will not be able to flower anymore. But here's another one here that got zapped, and that probably won't finish its bloom. Finally, time to cut back these daylilies. They have done so well in my yard. You guys know I love daylilies because they come in all kinds of colors and shapes and sizes, and I know some people don't like them, but with me, I love them, and I cut them back or I pull them off, and they do really, really well. They look ratty now, and that's because I haven't done anything, because I haven't gotten a chance to do much. But probably on this weekend coming up, I'm really going to I'm going to have a video coming up where I'm going to be really cutting back all these ratty looking daylilies and get these beds seriously ready for the winter. The Mystic Spire salvia got zapped too. That's pretty much done. There's a bee on it. I'm not sure if that bee's even alive. Probably not, because it's been so cold, so he's probably tried to overwinter. Because again, the reason why the bees probably was out here is because they were still coming around when the temperature was 35, 36, 37. So he probably got stuck here, and then it finally come all the way down. The temperature came all the way down, and then he probably froze to death. I don't think he's alive, but I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. But the plant itself is an annual, I think. I thought it was a perennial for me, but I've been told it's an annual, so it probably will reseed, and the official plant won't come back, but it'll probably reseed. This is a pollinator magnet that has done really, really well. I bought this from Kroger, the supermarket, and it did really, really well, so I'm excited about that. The pink Valiza Gora got a little damage because we had some winds and some rains and stuff, but it's still trying to do something with the flowering. But that also got zapped. Also that got zapped and is looking like it got zapped is the Beyond Midnight Bluebeard. You can tell that it got hit really, really hard. This is something I bought online from Proven Winners Direct in a quart, and this guy is literally 3 times, maybe 5 times the size I bought it. It was pretty small in those Proven Winners quart containers, and this got zapped really, really bad. I newly planted these agastache, so I really hope they hold on. You know, I have bad luck with these plants anyway, and these are newly planted, so I'll have to see what goes on with them right here. And then here's another dahlia that is pretty much done for me. Got really zapped back. I had cut it back before, but again, look at all this mushy stuff here. 22 degrees. Dahlias can't take that for me here in Georgia Zone 8A. My Pearl Glam Beautyberry got zapped as well. All the foliage got knocked off in literally 2 days. It was fine again last week, and then bam, all the foliage got hit. The only thing I'm seeing foliage-wise is right here. And as you can see, it's kind of like looking womp womp. But the berries are still here, and hopefully we will, I don't see any birds anymore, but these are really for the birds. And this plant has done really, really well for me again. I bought this in a little quart from Proven Winners, and this thing is literally 10 times the size of this thing and has done really, really well. Has really nice dark foliage with these really nice white berries in the spring, white flowers in the spring, and then behind those white flowers we have these beautiful purple berries. So I'll see if the birds come and get these, or what actually happens to the berries when the winter comes. I'm not sure. Here are those other encores that I was telling you about, the Autumn Carnation. Ooh, this was looking so nice last week, guys. And bam, look at that. All mushy. Oof. Looking kind of rough on the flowers, but the foliage will stay nice in the winter. That's one thing about these encore azaleas. They stay really, really nice in the winter. I always have something to look at. So once they get knocked back, flower-wise, I'll probably take these off or they'll just fall off themselves. It's not a big deal, This is a close-up of what it looks like, and I'll just kind of pull it off, because it doesn't really look nice, I'll just pull it off. But this thing was a beauty. You might have seen it in one of my videos. This thing was covered in this really, really nice pink. Let me show you. It looks exactly like that, maybe even brighter than this. And it got knocked back by the 22. Same thing with the Autumn Embers. This too was looking really nice and had this really nice orangey red. But now it's all mushy, and I could just pull it off just like that. Nice and mushy. Over here, nothing's looking nothing's looking bad, not than usual, except for the daylilies, of course, because this is not an evergreen daylily, so these actually will have to get cut back like the other ones on the other side. My Mexican petunia is looking rough. This has been a joy to watch, and also I've caught a bunch of hummingbirds on this plant. They have this really nice purple bell-shaped flowers that are pretty much done now, but these guys finally got knocked back last night. They were doing well in the 30s as well, but then last night it was this is when they decided to just we're just gonna go to sleep. We're not taking this cold anymore. And I will definitely cut back. This one also does get a little bit mushy, so I have to cut it back. But it has been really great. I have one right here, and I have another one right here. I know I have like 3 of them in the yard, and they're all looking kind of rough. The rest of this back bed here nothing really has changed. All these other plants, they weren't phased because they're pretty tough. They're not going to get knocked back until we go really, really low. This is the cat's meow nepeta. That's still looking good. You'd never think that it's 29 degrees right now. And same thing with this yarrow right here, still looking good. I got 3 yarrows here, but of course my coneflowers are pretty much done. Just leaving the seeds for those birds. And then I need to cut back these mums. These are all coneflowers over here. And then I have some lavender that I'm still deciding what I'm going to do, because lavenders give me trouble here in this soil. This is my 3rd go around with lavender. Same thing with lavender and agastache, where they don't do well in my yard, but I keep trying. I really keep trying. All those new conifers that I planted, they look fine. I was worried about them, especially, and I know that these guys are really tough, right? I know that these Blue Point junipers are pretty tough, but they are not showing any sign. And I didn't plant these, I planted these less than 2 months ago, and they are looking good. I'm so happy, because I was worried that all that money I spent on these clearance plants to get me some evergreen interest, that was going to go to waste. But this Blue Point juniper, no sign of anything yet. And then I have some Forever Goldies down here. I have some Sunshine Ligustrums down there, and they're doing great. I'm not surprised that the gardenia is looking kind of rough. This is a recent move from where it was, because I felt like when I first got this plant, it flowered and then it never flowered again, but it never died. So I knew that it probably needed more sun. But it is still alive. It took the 22 really good, but you can still see that there's something going on with it. You can tell that, it got a little bit hit by the cold. My orange rocket barberry finally deleafing. It's been holding on and doing really great. But again, one thing with these is these are so tough. These are this really nice coral color when they first come out. Really, really nice. But they're finally losing their leaves because it's tough. It's really tough. This is a newly planted abelia. This is Rose Creek abelia. And it's an evergreen for me, but again, a recent plant that I put in the ground, so it might not take too well to this 22 degrees a couple of weeks after it's been planted, but it should be fine in the spring. So what else do I want to show you guys? A lot of the daisies are looking great. And one thing I love about daisies is that for me, they stay evergreen in the winter. Now I have the Proven Winners banana cream daisies, and I have other types of daisies. I have white mountain daisies, and even though they don't bloom now, they still look nice. Look at that. You would never think we hit 22 yesterday. Here's my evergreen wintergreen boxwood that I love so much that I keep talking about over and over. And then in this other bed here, again, a salvia that is really trying to bloom, guys. Look at that. Salvias are pretty tough. That is the definition of tough, guys. Look at these blooms this salvia is trying to put out in this first week in December, guys. And again, I think also one of the reasons why it probably is doing it is that because we just had great temperatures the other day. We literally just had great temperatures. So it's not going to get knocked back on just one time of hitting 22. Now, one of the things about my zone here is that even though it did hit 22, it doesn't stay at 22. It doesn't stay there. So it's not like the plants are getting beat up at 22 for 7 hours. Usually what happens is that it will hit 22 for a couple minutes, and then it'll probably go back to 25 or 26 and then go up and then come back down again. So the plants are not constantly in danger at those low temperatures. And that's why you're seeing stuff like daisies that still have little blooms on them, salvias that still are blooming, and other plants. So here, moving around on the other side of the yard where I was working on this really nice project, I still have some plants that these are all in containers, and they did really, really well. I was worried about this mahonia because I had forgotten to bring it inside. This is a Zone 8 plant. This is Soft Caress Mahonia by Southern Living Plant Collection, and I was seriously worried about it. And I ran outside and I brought it in, but I brought it back out for this video. But this guy here is only a Zone 8 plant. This is a clearance plant from Lowe's, but it's doing really, really well. It blooms in the late fall to the winter. And I had planned to put it in the ground, but I said, let me wait until it's done blooming, then put it in the ground, because if I did not wait, I will sacrifice the blooms. But then here comes all these 20-something degrees, and this plastic container won't help a Zone 8 plant. This is just a little bit of plastic, and it doesn't have the protection that it needs. So I have to decide what to do about this plant soon. And then all these other plants that I have in containers are things that I worked on earlier. I've got some lungwort, some heuchera, and then we have those ornamental kale and cabbage that I have here. I have a carex grasses, the Everillo plants, and then I have a container here that's not doing well. I'm not sure why. I made this not too long ago, and the other ones I made for the front are doing quite well. That's not doing well, so it might need some water. Now, one thing I also wanted to show you are my Japanese maples. For whatever reason, these two Japanese maples, and I should have recorded it last year, they lose their leaves so fast, and then they already budded up for next year. Look at that, right? This one here is the Winter Red, Ultrapermatum Winter Red right here. Let me show you the tag. These I got from MrMaple.com. And then this one here is Oregon Sunset. And this one here never really thrived. It's alive, but it's not thriving. And it loses leaves so quick before I can really, document it. So I think it might have been in too much sun, or it might have stayed dry too long. And because of that, both of them don't have anything on. They should still have something on. Here we are on the first week in December. But the other one, the one that seems to be always doing fine ever since I bought all three online, is this beauty here. This is the Acer palmatum Katsura, and this one here, again from Mr. Maple. This one is looking really nice, giving me some really nice winter color. But again, it's strange because I would not have watered one and not watered the other two. Not sure why this one is doing way better than the other two, but this is the one that I'm talking about, the Acer palmatum Katsura. It's in the same type of pot like the others. It's in the same area where the others are, but this one is looking really, really nice. Now I just bought them. Well, I didn't buy them. I was gifted them two birthdays ago, and this particular one is doing well. I also just recently bought, you might have seen a video where I recently bought these two new Bloomstrucks from Lowe's, and they were looking quite fine at Lowe's the other day, and then bam, 22, and those are knocked back. But those are hardy from zones 4 to 9. So I have to decide what I'm going to do. I'm going to put them in the garage, or am I going to plant them? Probably garage, because we're only going to get colder from here. Now obviously we're going to get nice and warm again. This is the beauty about our weather, is that it will try to kill us with this 22 and 23 and 21, and then in the next couple of weeks we're going to be back up to 70 something, which I really appreciate. But that's just the beauty of our weather here in zone 8A Georgia. I also have some container plants that, again, still a work in progress with this bed. I didn't believe that this bed was going to be so much trouble and so much work, but I ended up putting this Elaeagnus in here. This one is Olive Martini Elaeagnus that I took out the ground and put in this container because I'm looking for 2 evergreens, and I might even move those again. Otherwise, everything else is plants that I need to go to sleep. And then, of course, I still have one more Blue Point juniper that I don't know where to put it. And that's what is here. That's why it's right here. Otherwise, guys, the yard is looking like it's going to be cold. It's looking like it's in its 20s. The plants are either laying on the ground, or the flowers are got zapped, and they're not going to make it any further. I want to show you. Here's something else I didn't show you. Here is my banana. I don't really talk about this too much because half the time I actually forget about it, because I had bought 3 of them or 5 of them from Walmart a couple years ago. I think I always mispronounce this thing. I think it's Miso Bashu, something like that. And this is the last one that finally made it. And it's not in the right place, but this guy here is a hardy banana that comes back for me every year, so long as I mulch it really, really nice. And I'm going to actually move it one more time because it's in a bad spot. I have it between 2 recurve privets. I'm not sure why I did that, but this thing needs to be in full sun, and it also needs to be in a place where it stays moist, because these bananas love wet soil. But also, this thing is hardy. It's really, really hardy. It will come back. Now, it's not bananas that I'm going to eat or plan to eat. This is just a banana tree because I always like to have a tropical area in the yard. But I also have to mulch it really, really nice for it to come back. Otherwise, guys, this is the yard in the first week in December. Let me know what happens in your yard, and let me know how things did, and if the weather went down, and if anything got damaged, or if anything is still looking really good compared to what it was last year. We have been really, really lucky to get some really, really nice weather, but we knew this was going to happen. Look at these roses, guys. They got zapped, but they're not completely zapped. With these really nice double knockout roses, it'll take way more than a 22 to knock these back. Here are my autumn joys that are finally dried up. These I'll cut back probably when everything gets yellow. I'll cut it back, but 2 more of the double knockout roses are doing really, really well. Let me know what you guys think. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my new videos. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.